Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Sue. Today's class is a short class on warming up and stretching your hands, your forearms, and your wrists, and just taking care of it in general. Whether or not you use your hands and arms a lot for your yoga practice, or it's you're working on the computer, or more often than not today we are on our devices, on our cell phones and smartphones, and that actually causes a lot of strain in our forearms, wrists, and hands. So today I thought we have a dedicated class just for our hands, wrists, and forearms. And maybe we'll get a little bit into the shoulders as well. Alright, let us start off in a comfortable seated position. Get yourself comfortable. You can be seated on the ground or on a chair or on a bolster or pillow like I am doing right now. One shin in front of the other is great, but we will start off by warming up the hands. So first, you just make a fist with your hands, make it squeeze it tight and spread it wide. Just a few times like that. Okay. Okay, and now let's bring it into our shoulders as well. So take your arms out and kind of flick your hands out about 5 to 10 times. Reach it overhead, reach both arms overhead and do the same thing. Strong. About 10 times. Stretch it out in front of you. Again, about 5 to 10 times here, just to warm up those fingers. And then relax that. And then we'll roll out those wrists and roll it in one direction. Make fists with your hands, so just let those hands relax. And then switch directions. Good. And take your hands out in front of you, one palm out, and take your other hand and kind of give your fingers a flick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and repeat this again. About 5 times in total. It's not an exact science, but we're trying to just kind of warm up the hands. So just do the same thing with the other side. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing with the hands pointed down, but instead of flicking the fingers, you just hold the hands down, a little bit of a stretch, gentle, and we're not doing too much, just a little bit of movement here so you see I'm gently pushing it down, just about 5, 10 times. And we're not holding it, it's just slight pulsations. Keep breathing. Keep sitting tall. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Very gentle. Slight pulsations. Okay, and then we'll release that and we'll come back to the first exercise where we stretch our hands out and then flick again 10 times. Reach the hands overhead and flick. And the same thing here, about 5 to 10 times. Now back to those wrist rotations. Switch directions. Okay. And now that we're a little bit warmer with those hands and the wrists, we're going to start with the first serious exercise. Okay, so we'll place the forearms together and interlace your fingers and start to draw an infinity symbol. Make sure those forearms are stuck together. Okay, and then we'll switch the directions. It gets a little trickier here. Okay, and then back to the center, and you just do circles in one direction about 5 to 10 times. And then switch directions. Okay, and then now we're going to see how you're gripping your hands. You're going to switch it around so that it feels awkward with the grip. And then we're going to do the infinity symbol again. Okay, and then switch directions. So, yes, make sure it's the other way around. It should feel quite awkward. Okay, and then we'll release that. And probably your shoulders are holding on to quite a bit of tension here. So just start to roll it out a little in one direction and then the next. Okay, so now back to the hands. If you feel any tension in the wrist, one of my favorite things to do is just kind of from your elbow down towards the wrist, you kind of just press the muscles and give yourself a little bit of a massage and pull your hands away from your elbows. And you repeat that a few times, like you're squeezing, emptying out a toothpaste, and squeeze and pull about 5 times on one side, and then you do the same thing on the other side. Okay, and then take a break there, roll out the wrist. Okay, next you're going to make a claw with your hands, and then as though you're squeezing it in and kind of resisting the expansion of your hands, just make a claw with it, and then you're going to make circles with the wrist. And this one you can really feel if you have any injury or any kind of, you'll feel the crunching in your wrist, and that's pretty normal as long as you're not feeling any sharp pain. Okay, one direction and then the other way. Okay, and then we'll repeat the same thing here. Claw, one direction. And then the other way. And it always feels weird to do it one way. The other way is easier. And a little crunching, you'll hear, that's pretty normal. And then a little release, a little shake off. Okay, and then next we're going to do kind of like a little bit of adjustment. It feels like adjustment, but we're trying to kind of release any compression in the wrist area. I find this really helpful. So you're going to grab onto one hand with the opposite hand, okay, and then the hand that's being held onto, so this in this case is my right hand, I'm going to keep it loose. The other hand that's holding on to the right hand, the left hand, is going to be stiff. Okay, so I'm going to grab with my left hand and then start to almost pull my hand away from my elbow, so kind of lengthening this area. And as I do that, I can just move around a little bit. It's just kind of a great stretch for that wrist. There's so many bones in that area, the hands included, right? And then I'll do the same thing for the other side. So this hand is going to be loose, left hand's going to be really loose, and then grab a hold of it with the right hand and pull it away, and then a little bit of movement. So it's kind of intuitive with this. There's no real method to do this. You just want it to feel good. So you want to feel the muscles really lengthening and ligaments and creating space between those bones. Okay, and then we'll release that, give that a little shake off. And now I will interlace the fingers and gently press the hands away from the body. And then you can start to lift the arms up about shoulder height and continue to do so all the way overhead. And this depends on if it feels good for you. Okay, just pause it here, and then you can take it over to one side. Get a bonus side stretch to the body as well. Come back to the center and then over to the other side. And then come on back to the center and release those hands. And then the very final thing I like to do is just a deeper stretch for the forearms as well. So this one you have to do on the floor or on a table, and you have to be very careful. So you start off with your fingertips touching the ground, And then you're going to gently place your hands on the floor. Hopefully your whole palm is on the floor. And if you have to, get up, lift up a little so that you're not getting any sharp pain, right? You just want to get a slow stretch to this. So pushing into the floor helps. Pushing the fingertips help. And then after a few breaths, if you think you need a little bit more, you can start to sink back, and then you should feel a great stretch to those forearms. So we'll hold it here. Allow the shoulders to relax, and don't forget to breathe. One more deep breath. Okay, and then we'll release that. A little bit of a roll out. Maybe the backs of your hands on the ground. Okay, and then we'll shake it off gently. And that's it. That's all you have to do. And I find just that little bit really helped me, especially with a very strong vinyasa practice where I do lots of push-ups and use my hands and forearms a lot. And I believe just taking care of my wrists and my hands had helped to keep my yoga practice going for many, many years now. All right, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope that helped. Namaste.